So heart of the lineup coming up for the Beavers. Starts Forrester off with a breaking ball and misses low. Ball one.
I mean, this is a rain. This gets tough now as a player. I mean, it's 8-run game. It's raining. And this is a legitimate rain. This is not the Oregon mist. And so now as players, you start going, okay, now enough's enough. There does come a play. I wish I could say that as a competitor, you're like, I always want to be out here. That is just not true. There are times when you're like, enough's enough. I mean, let's get this game going.
Now, the good news is, with this turf and the way that it drains, that it's not necessarily a safety issue for the players, because this turf is in excellent condition.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, you would know if it's a problem. Maybe on the mound. Now, this is an all-turf mound. And I guess it drains great. The guys seem to really like it. Plenty of traction. Hasn't been any slipping. But I think if you ever saw something like that, it would be quickly addressed as far as do they keep going.
In the grounds crew, though, you can see between games, between innings, they're out here with the brush with a shovel, kind of moving the beads around on the turf to just make sure it's a flat surface around the box, around the mound. Grounds crew does a great job here at Goss Stadium. Fastball inside corner, run him up. Forrester down on strikes, looking. Take another look at this pitch.
It's close. Pitch before, it might have been a little bit better pitch. 2 strikes, man, you got to swing.
All right, here's Jacob Melton, the Pac-12 Player of the Year. 0 for 4 tonight, reached on an error in his first at-bat in the first. See if he can get on track for the Beavers. Weak ground ball to first base, charging is Sim. He'll have to tag Melton for the out, 2 down.
It's just been interesting for Melton so far. Just hasn't been able to find the timing. In fact, the ones he has hit, you see the 1 for 10. And I mean, the ones he's putting in play, I think that might be the 3rd infield little roller that we've seen, 3rd or 4th.
So what is that? Is that a case of the Player of the Year just kind of pressing, trying to perform on this big stage?
It's possible. I think he's just not seeing the ball, and so he's gotten himself into a little bit of a funk. He's trying to chase rather than getting his pitch. And that was a tough little slider down and in that really he should be spitting on. And instead of spitting on it, he's getting anxious and trying to swing at that.
So if you're not seeing the ball well, what's the correction? How do you fix it?
That's a great question. You know, I think whenever you're not seeing the ball well, for me, it was always about trying to spread out just a little bit and look the other way. And the other way is really important to define that. I'm not talking like toward, if you're lefty for Melton, not toward third base. The other way for him is between the bag and the shortstop. And you can be real specific. So it's almost up the middle, but to me, that's the other way. So now what happens if you get out there and you're out in front just a little bit? You keep the ball fair. You hit it hard, but it stays fair. Maybe you hit it over the first baseman's head. If you're a little bit late, now you keep it fair, but over the third baseman's head.
Is that like when you're hitting a golf shot, you're kind of picking a target off in the distance and kind of directing it towards there?
Kind of. I mean, it's a little bit, what's different is that in baseball, it's with your shoulder. So you're looking with your shoulder. That's where you want your shoulder to go, is that little gap, the other way that I call it. But so many times, and this might be the case with Melton, you get anxious, so then you just start, boom, you start pulling the ball. You hit it hard, but it goes foul. You can't keep it fair, right? And that's the ones you always want back. And sometimes it's just about where you're thinking you want to hit it. Where's that shoulder going?
3-2 pitch to Gavin Logan. Popped up. That one gets out of play.
One of the best I've ever played against that was good at that was Barry Bonds, who was one of the greatest hitters ever. But he used to get on the plate, but he could keep an inside fastball fair. And sometimes I just couldn't believe he hit bombs, of course, home runs like crazy, but how did he not hook balls? He just was able to keep his hands inside the ball.
3-2 pitch, froze him. Back-to-back strikeouts. Two strikeouts in the inning for Jack Dolak. 1, 2, 3, 8th. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th.